Hi, John here. It's Thursday, for the 31st October 2013. Just a short clip on the Declaration of Independence Day, 1835, up at Waitangi. I couldn't make it there, but just catch up with what we're doing here at the present time with the private prosecutions on this 61 Cook Street in the city. I was just waiting on the private investigator, Graham Aylett, to contact me. I want to join him as a private prosecutor for this case and every other case after that. You'll see there's John Banks is a private prosecution with Graham McCready in Wellington, the ex-accountant. He's doing a private prosecution as well, but he's handed it over to the Solicitor General in the Crown to handle it, because this is a big case. The one I'm doing is very big. That's why I'm taking a bit longer to do. And the private investigator, he's ex-detective sergeant from UK, so he's getting familiar with what we're doing here. It's a very intensive case to do with land and with King William, the fourth seal. You'll see on our Facebook his seal with him on a horse at Plymouth Dockyard, and his ship in the background. That's real Admiralty. That's the beginning of the Admiralty law that we're exercising here, our right as the partner to him in a commercial contract through Westminster Parliament at the time, 1835. He was reigning British Crown from 1830 to 1837, died in 1838. So in that period of time, he was instrumental in commercialising the Admiralty law. As such, it happened in 1833. That's when everything started to take off in the States, UCC law and all of that. Now we got OPPT. We've seized that and put that figure of their foreclosure on the World Bank into our documents. Our documents are sealed with King William's great sovereign seal. That's his sovereign authority that we use as his business partner. We use the flag, the Confederation flag, which is the bank trading flag, the most powerful flag in that sense, commercial, in the world. So we have that right as Tahitian with the Ngāpuhi chiefs up at Titi Moai. There's a message to them that they are the Tahitians who had the nous to go to the king and sign an agreement with him. In doing so, the King William drafted it into the lower house of Westminster Parliament. That's his Tudor royal monarchy bloodline. It remains to this day extant forevermore, fixed in statute law in Westminster. So we're using that right. We're using all the power of that flag, the 1835 Declaration of Independence flag, on the 28th of October 2013, when they had the celebration up at Waitangi, and now it's Labour Day. You see how ignorant Pākehā are here to make that day something else other than the founding of this country, the real founding of this country, not the 1840 Treaty of Waitangi. To those Maori and iwi who are using the 1840 treaty, you are now bill debtors of Moai Crown. The Moai Crown is hapu straight at that time, at that memorial time of 1835 and beyond. We are allowed to go past that now history with the hapu. So that's one side. The other side, with the obelisk still standing at Waitangi, as long as that obelisk is standing, they get the bill. The Crown, Crown corporations. And in corporations, everything that comes under Te Ture Whenua Act 1993 is corrupted. Okay, tell you that much now. The Australians are using that 1993 Native Land Act for their consolidated Commonwealth of Australia corporation company, in brackets. That's a registered in Washington DC. Using the 1986 Constitution of New Zealand, that's fraud as well. That's corrupted. Geoffrey Palmer, he drafted that, and they're using that for their Australian Constitution. Okay, so that's fraud. We're using King William, his seal, to go right over the top of that with his Admiralty as an admiral, not as the Queen on that side. On that side in Wellington, New Zealand government, Parliament, and their cabinet is an exile, right? They are an authority of sovereignty in exile here, operating their business, right? So we are the sovereign of this country, as straight to England as law. It's law now because no one has refuted the claim. The affidavits you see on Facebook, we'll just put some more fresh ones on there. Inside the seals, you'll see the seals and the flags. Those are real, sealed, authenticated, official documents of title, right? We're using those instruments with the private investigator to go and see the police, CIB, and the SFO, Serious Fraud Office, to tell them, to explain to them who has the jurisdiction here in this country. The Supreme Court here, they made the High Court the same as the Supreme Court. That left the public out of that venue to go to in the Supreme Court. So they have to go to the Privy Council in London now, you see. So we're going straight over the top of that with their mace or paddle as their jurisdiction beside King William seal. The King lives forever. And when he's not there, we're there as his authorised partner. In law, as still current, right? We can, without him, the Queen will be nothing, right? The Monarchy Continuity Act is the same as us in our Moai, Tahitian monarchy. That's the royal family. My Wanoa people are Moai people from Raiatea Island and Rapa Nui Islands. Get this one. That's for real. That's to me here in New Zealand on Aotea Island. So that history is on Facebook inside those seals. All those documents now put inside those seals are actually authenticated. We've got proof of that from Judge David Lindsay Mackey, QC, London, with his clerk of his court, his Admiralty court. You see it video on there, that's proof. We use the seals because no one's going to say so not to on our documents from that court, because we have a right to be in there through King William, right? King William started off the commercial side of these flag jurisdiction. His flag jurisdiction of Admiralty law, okay, and High Court. So we are devising a system where we don't go to court. We don't step into their court here because it's corrupted, and the judges have their own jurisdiction of maritime law, and so we challenge them with our seal and our flags, the King William's crown flag, crown and anchor, and our Moai statue seal standing in London, France, Belgium, New York, Washington, DC, Singapore, Chile, and New Zealand here. We've got one in the South Island. You'll see that one on the pound note. with Desmond, Wanoa, you see, those are real authenticated pound notes. We're going to print them against your debt. Okay, I'm just telling you, all you people who are following the Queen, Maoris and iwis and citizens who are voting for John Key, the governments in Wellington, your debtors. Alright, I'll just make that public announcement now. Your debtors to Moai Crown, unless you can prove otherwise. You're conveyancing titles on the lands, that's all they are, conveyancing titles, instruments, and they're not absolute title that we're putting on the Facebook now. Absolute title, that means Moai's name is not on any of those titles, only Maori names and Maori land court titles to the Crown. There's no such word or tribe as Maori iwi. The word Maori belongs to the Crown, Pākehā people who set up the Maori land court for themselves, not for our people. I get that one right. That's legally, we're putting all these legal documents against you as debtors for the 1 trillion against the Queen, Evelyn Rothschild, Queen, her name, Elizabeth Windsor, personally, right? In person is her other names, Buckingham Palace, and Queen of England, that's another company, those two, and Her Majesty the Queen and Right of New Zealand, right? And that's three. The other one is Her Majesty and Right of Australia and Canada. And also the federal states that are operating under the Pope, Black Pope, Adolfo Nicholas Patron. You're the other one, right? Evelyn Rothschild, the banker. That bill is against you. The trillion pound notes, we're going to print off against this pound note with Moai, crown on his head, that's a real crown, the earth crown to the world title. Okay? And Desmond, Wanoa, live person, holding his hand around that Moai statue in Dunedin. So you see the Pākehās were very cunning in 1930 to take that Moai off East Island, stole it, and put it down South Island. You see, that belongs to us. That's our memorial statue of God's face and his crown on his head, and DNA to us. Tahitian, right? If there's anything Irish in me, that's come from Ireland to here. You see, 1840 is a cut-off point. The government in Wellington, and get this, you must absorb this. The government in Wellington and the cabinet and Parliament, the legislated the Act of 1840, their founding document, not ours, their founding document of their government and their iwi Maori tribe. Okay, there's nothing to do with us. They are on the other side. We bill them and everybody inside that side. We have some members inside our Moai Crown sovereign monarch state confederation. Okay, we're using King William the Fourth flag jurisdiction of Britain and British military as our protectorate, as it is written. Okay, so we're using that. We're using his seal, King William the Fourth seal, to authenticate and authorise under his sovereign crown all the documents you see on Facebook that are instruments. They are creditor, that's us, instruments of debtors against everybody who comes under the Queen, the Black Pope, Evelyn Rothschild's banks, Rockefellers, Bilderbergs, Illuminatis, and everybody else in that cabal. Okay, the 300 royal families. On top of that, the OPPT foreclosed on the World Bank. All of that money was derived through Admiralty law. We prove it by letting people try to refute any of our affidavits on Facebook. It's admissible. All of these documents are admissible in the High Court of Admiralty in London. Okay, and they could be to here in New Zealand. Anything that's got truth on it. All right. If you can't refute it, you lose. It is a default conviction against anybody who doesn't refute it. Within 7 days of their notice going on to Facebook, and your name is on it, inside the box or anywhere on that document with that seal, your debt. That's your debt. Any debt we have against any person in this country, New Zealand and Pacific Islands, anyone who has their name on any of those documents from Moai Crown is a debtor against the bigger figures of the Queen's trillion. On top of that, the OPPT foreclosure amount is something like 1,014.900 trillion. Okay, so you got 1140 900 trillion. That's their figure. We put that figure inside those seals of Admiralty law. No one in this world has that power except us with that flag, the 1835 Declaration of Independence flag of sovereignty, our sovereignty around the world. That flag gives us protection from the British military, travelling around the world anywhere we go with it, and put it in the sea bed where our turbines are going. The tidal turbines, my tidal turbines, are going to be installed and make power. So that's our economy. We've got title, we've got seals, we've got flag, and we've got jurisdiction. Right? The courts here in New Zealand, we don't go and step in their courts. We give them notice. We go and see the police. We tell the police, the SFO, the CID, and the area commanding officer, and the local constables. We tell them, and the police commissioner, Marshal. We tell them, Peter Marshal, we tell them what we're going to do to any debtors who are fraud. Right? We're going to do 61 Cook Street. That's fraud. You've got ministers in there. No one's immune. Pope Francis put out the courier on the 1st of September that everybody's accountable, including politicians, police, lawyers, judges, ministers, priests, bishops, citizens, anybody who breaks the law of Moai Crown is indictable by default convictions. And me, being a private prosecutor, as well as others who want to be private prosecutors, shall have the authority, the jurisdiction, the constitution of the 1852 UK constitution, which is our constitution, and Moai uses British land laws of England for our documents, and our Moai sovereign state government of the world. Right? This is to head the New World Order corrupted fraud cabals off. Right? The churches, I made mention of the churches, the Catholic churches here, Church of England, will clear you off the land and take your symbols and your Satan gods out of here. Right? That's I made quite clear on the Facebook. That's a Moai directive. Okay, that's coming from our executive committee. That you are offensive people with your Satan gods, devil, killing people in the world, spraying the skies with chemtrails, and drilling oil and fracking, and poisoning people, the food. We're going to test everything. We're going to test everything. We're going to have marshals, and we're going to have sheriffs with these warrants, with these sealed warrants in their badge over here, and the flag over here. Okay? King William. That's our authority around the world. We're going to carry those. We're going to train people to go around checking the titles of these lands in New Zealand, Pacific Islands. So for all those leaders in the Pacific who are watching this video, Su Nikora is our Prime Minister of the new Moai government. Hapu, not iwi, and not Maori, certainly not Maori. Right? That is foreign, alien, and a threat to our national security. John Key, you are a threat to our national security by bringing in foreigners into the country without our permission. You haven't got permission from me or our executive with King William's seal documents of jurisdiction and title. You've got your own jurisdiction, we're testing it. Right? If you're wrong, you go. We strip you of everything you own. That's a fact. You'll see that happen. There's nothing you can do about that under this law straight from Britain. Straight from the British are obligated to us that your fraud 1840 Treaty of Waitangi will be found out. And everybody that's running that business, the incorporations, under that Queen oath, right? Your oath, police oath, Antoli, Minister of Police, said to the Vic Ricard, the chief of the training of the constable's oath of allegiance, to who? In 2008, to who? Then 2009, to who? And then, 2013, one day. And Tolly, the new ministers, you shift them around. They shift them around so you can't go one or the other. Julius Collins, you're responsible. We're putting your name in the box, the same as John Key's, Chris Phillipson's, Obama, and the Queen. You see, and Doug Ricard Bell. Your names are in a box for wanted. It's clearly marked around the seals around the edge of it. You're clearly marked as debtors. And under our Admiralty law, the penalty for that is hanging or being shot on sight on the land you're standing on. Because unless you can show us a title, not conveyances titles that you have as mortgages. Admiralty law is mortgages. That's what it is. That's its definition. Admiralty law. You got from England to here, to there, to America, to Canada, to Australia. You got there under this Admiralty law. Changed it into maritime law, local. That's us. We're the common law people, right? Native here. You are the alien with your surnames, okay? We're testing every surname, bloodlines, DNA. Our law in Moai is very strict. It's very strict. And you break it, you go on the dock. You get hung on the dock down here on the waterfront where I am, okay? Right in front of everybody, just to teach you a lesson. In King William's time, it's still the same now. It has not changed in our world, right? No such thing as iwi, no such thing as Maori. Our two chiefs up at Titi Marae, Waitangi, Kingi Taurua, and Papa Wirumuheihei. Those are the chiefs up there I represent. And Sunikura down in Gisborne, in the Oehapohatu, Hapu area, and also Uetaha, Hapu area, Rotten Point, East Cape. That's my area. Right? Those are graphic titles to this country. Right? That's graphic. You can see it's got seals around the edge now, straight to Britain. Right? Anyone else violating those laws, like you are in Wellington, the alien, with your conveyancing titles, are going to have them stripped from you in debt against the pound note. That is our debt instrument. We have the right, the legal right to print money against you. Each person in this country who has all this time gone under the Queen of England, she's fraud, she's a convicted criminal felon. The same as Adolfo Nicholas Patron. International Tribunal for Crimes of Church and State, Kevin Annette, and the Canadian Cree we're supporting those people because they are of the same purpose and rights as us on our lands. These are our lands. They are strange people that are here acting fraudulently. Our business is fraud prosecutions, right? Private prosecutions. Okay, that's our business. Apart from tidal energy and jet fuel, that's our economy. This is a message to the Queen of England. You've got a year before we arrest you. This is the indigenous people, and also Kevin and the Canadian, Indian, Cree people have a warrant on you for 1 year. We have consolidated that warrant, this public notice to everybody in the world. We have consolidated our seals around that arrest warrant on those 30 or so people named in churches. The church is the biggest Satan, devil, monster here around the world. That's what I'm saying. Our law is very strict on our land. If you break our law, the Queen, you don't own this country. You break our law, you pay. That's why the bill is going to you. Also, there's 2 bills and the 17 trillion, the 17.6 trillion that you say you own a sixth of the globe. We seize that too because you're using King William the 4th seal. If you are, whoever's using that seal, when we are in contract with him, we are in a commercial contract with him as his business partner with our flag to prove it. You have no trading flag. The Navy flag is not a trading flag. The Navy flag is a protectorate flag. They are there to protect our business. Miss Queen, you and Prince Philip has no jurisdiction over us. He's not an admiral of a ship. King William is the admiral, the real admiral. You and your crown is illegitimate monarchy. You have got my stolen Moai in your possession. That gives me proof that you stole them by prize from Admiralty law. On your ship, you carried them to England. That is my title, my own Wanoa people, Moai people, God's people title. Okay? So that makes wherever Moai, real one, that's a real one. Wherever he's standing, that's my title to our royal family of Tahitians. That includes Ngāpuhi, Tainui, Ngāti Porou. All those people are on the other side. You see, they're on your side, under your jurisdiction, okay, as debtors. The creditor is on the other side. The Moai people are the people around the world. Anybody who wants to break away from you and your fraud, corrupted cabal, murdering people, skies, sea, food, poison. You are responsible, Queen Elizabeth. You, before you die, you're held liable right now by Moai, God in heaven. It's quite clear now that you're going to get caught. You're getting caught. All your family are in the States, United States, through the federal state government, straight to Britain, through you and your bad people with Obama. So that's what I want to say. It's supposed to be a short clip, but I'm being very, very clear in our approach to the courts here in New Zealand. And John Key, the Prime Minister, the Governor General, Jerry Mataparai Andrews. You see, the surname Andrews. I'll take him to court. I'll take him to court. It don't take much to take anybody to court. We're settling out of court because if they can't prove a title against the Moai title, and surname, and bloodline, and whakapapa, right? Those are monarchy things. If they can't refute it, because they're commercial, then we're commercial too. We have the commercial right to commercially bill debt charge you under our seal, Moai seal and King William seal, right? The act of continuity means the monarch can't be broken in British history or Tahitian history. You can't break it. Anybody who's arguing about King David and all the rest of the history, forget it in New Zealand, because you're cut off. Your government, your Prime Minister, your Governor General cut you off at 1840. You cannot enter into any contract with us before that date. Right? We can, you can't. You are cut off at 1840. So anybody, Celtics, or anybody, Catholics, Church of England, anybody trying to argue against Moai, you're cut off at 1840. Everything before that doesn't count. Any Maori history before that does not count. Only Hapu, Moai, counts before that time. That's law. We just made law. Right? We made law this way. Right? It's commercial. We now are operating a commercial business under Moai Crown. That's a crown, you see. No one's stopping us from saying crown. You're not allowed to say that, because there's already a crown. There's two crowns now. You pick one or the other. Okay? You pick one crown or the other. The real one or the fake one. The one with the stolen pyramids of the Vatican Church. You see the evil? They've actually stolen those pyramids and the obelisks. You can go on Facebook. It's got the seals around that, them with the ropes around the Moai statue head in New York, and the ropes around the obelisk carrying it off to Rome. Right? That's evidence admissible in the High Court. That's our evidence of stealing. You don't steal in front of God. So therefore, you must be the devil and Satan. All those people, all the people voting for the Queen and for the Pope and for the Catholic churches, Church of England, you are on the thief side of no God. You have no God good enough to stand the truth of Moai. Okay, that's what I want to say. It's quite a long video, this one, but however, it's informative. I wanted to do that just to back up our documents. We're backing ourselves up with evidence to the High Court in London and the High Court here in Auckland. This is for private prosecutions, and a message to Graham Ailey that he's a private prosecutor. He has shown an interest in going with me, the private prosecutor. He's a private investigator who knows what he's doing in his profession, so it's up to him. We'll tell. It's taken about 3-4 weeks now for him to make his mind up. I'm trying to contact him, but I seem to fail. And so if anybody's running away from Moai, it means there's something going on about it. He should have grabbed it, because it's the biggest opportunity, the biggest business in this country will be private prosecutions. Okay, I'm telling you that now. The judges here either are going to be honest after John Banks, the ex-Minister of Police, and the ex-Mayor of Auckland, New Zealand, the biggest city in this country, is on trial. You see, like Doug Graham, he's on trial. His name got in the box too, Doug Graham, for Lombard, finance fraud, and the horse scam with Sean Elias, the Supreme Court judge in this country, the biggest crook of all, with the Queen. Right? She's another one on trial in front of Moai. Okay? There's plenty of fraud business around. They'll lose everything. Right? We're going to seize all that money back to the people, the sovereign people of the world, who join Moai everywhere in the world, because the Moai real statues are dotted around the world where they've stolen them. What for? You see? What for? He's God's face, that's why. In earth. That's why he's buried deep into the ground on East Island to mark the meridian line of the sun. Closest distance to the sun is right there. When you look at the world, it's upside down. It's the right way up. South up, north, devil, hell, south. North, the bottom of the world. Right? East, west, that way. The 3 points of the meridian line is East Cape on our land block. You'll see that. Te Pito, birth of this country, New Zealand, out there. And East Island, midday, 6 o'clock in the morning, first sun. Shortest distance is at Te Pito on our land block, at the lighthouse. East Cape, North Island, New Zealand. Right? Shortest distance to the sun. You can't mistake it. That's the truth. That's our title to the world. That's our title. You can forget about all the lines that the Romans and the Harvard University have drawn all those lines with the Black Pope. He owns all the universities and the politicians and the parliaments around the world. He owns them. The Catholic Church, right? The devil himself, and the Queen, right? So they've got their title. We've got ours. Now it's up to you to pick them or us. You pick the Vatican, law or God's law. One, Satan or God. Okay? Truth or lies. One or the other. Okay? So this meridian line is Ghana on the other end, in Africa. Those histories line up. Those are real histories. Our sun, God, Ra, he's the reference line out into the universe. And Makemake, planet, above East Island, 23rd of July 2011, was directly above East Island, right? The sun directly above, and Makemake, planet. Those are our lines of reference to the world and the universe. Right? That's God's universe. No other lines in the world lines up to those. That's our proof in any court, in any beliefs or religions or anything like that. And when you look at the Pope and their lines, all their reference lines to the stars and all over the place, confusing. This is a straight line to the sun and to the Makemake. No big deal. Okay? Simple to follow, not confusing, not lying. Deep truth. Okay, so that's our title, and I'm showing to you today on the 31st of October 2013 this statement of claim I'm making to the world ahead of the New World Order. The New World Order has now got a problem facing Moai and this title that we're claiming to Ra, sun god, and not Horus, and not them stealing Ra in Giza, which is not Rome. Giza is Giza in Africa. That's soil. And that obelisk that is standing in London, France, and Rome, those obelisks are made from the earth in Africa, not in Rome or France or London. They've stolen that piece of earth. The same as the Moai statue. They've stolen that piece of earth that my ancestors in Africa built those pyramids, built those. I'm putting the history right. I'm putting the history right. I'm going to Africa to actually test the DNA of the black man, just to show you how long it took for the white man to go to Africa, screw that place up, and make them slaves, and come through India, Africa, and then to the Pacific. It took that long, that many years to get here. Now, the length of time it took to get here is the amount of time that we prove that the Africans are the same DNA as us. You can forget all the rest of the history. We're talking about today, 2013, back to 1840 for these stupid Maoris and Iwis and everybody else following the 1840 Treaty of Waitangi founding document. So that meant, really, they're saying they got here first before us in 1835. It's so stupid and assuming people, illusions, and all the rest of fake images of us and rivers and things. The Australian government in the Commonwealth of Australia is a new company in 2012. They took our Te Ture Whenua 1993 Act and put it on their Native Land Act in Australia. Those Aborigines, those native Australian black people, have not given them their titles like how we have. Our people have been duped and got the hills, the valleys, the rivers, and all the markings on titles, and drew them on titles. Not in Australia. They actually borrowed our one to make their titles. Those are all fraud conveyancing titles. They're only conveyancing titles that are only token piece of paper to draw funds from the land into financial instruments, right? Under Admiralty law and maritime law. So we're taking the same instruments and actually turning them from credit into debt. Okay, that's what we're doing against the offence. So that's all I want to say. As the Australian people are living in a false dream, the same as the New Zealand people and the people in Canada, America, all living in a dream of false, fake titles on land just to be occupying them. That's all it is. Occupation title. Right? The computer-generated titles are only occupation certificates to actually value land and everything on it. We're going to seize the land, so your certificate will end up being debt instruments against you, the people occupying the land, and we turn it into credit instruments by the pound note. Okay, the Moai pound note. You'll see it on Facebook with the Moai statue, the watermark. Okay, so that's Australia. You watch this space, and a private prosecutor at work in the courts here to take one land case through, the rest falls over. One land case. I'm going to see how well they can prove their title. Okay, and that's one more time. Conveyancing titles are not real title to the land. They are only an instrument for borrowing money from the bank. The bank is foreclosed, right, by OPPT, which is going to take over UCC. So what happened was this, quite clearly. The Moai Crown, Admiralty, Marshal, came along with his private prosecutor and seized the whole lot and foreclosed on them too. Right? We foreclosed on everybody using Admiralty law when we have the seal and the flag of jurisdiction over them. Okay? Unless you've got a flag dating back to 1830 to 1833,